Hello guys. Chaos and his big nose. Here, here, hail you. And today I would like to welcome you at my Frost Death Knight 8.0 BFA starter guide. So, without any further ado, let's jump into what the Frost Death Knight actually is about. Frost Death Knight, you can see here, an icy harbinger of doom, channeling runic power and deliberating vicious weapon strike. That's it. That's the whole fucking point. You are slow, like technically slow. According to the BFA movement modifications, you are actually capable of pretty strong burst moving, as you can. That's advanced and very well talent. But basically, you are still slow moving, hard hitting, force of death. So let's take a look at my spell bars and my talent tree. Of course, as any Death Knight, you have a solid number of gadgets, but the core of the rotation is in pressing obliterate, especially when it like glows. It glows because of the killing machine passive, which makes your auto attack critical strikes sometimes trigger obliterate automatically critical strike. Sometimes you press howling blast when it glows. That's the rhyme thing. Obliterate has a 45% chance, and Frostbite, this is AoE talent, the 22.5% chance to cause your next Howling Blast to consume no runes and deal 300% additional damage, which makes it hit like a fucking truck. And then whenever you don't have anything else to press, you press Frost Strike to spend runic power and refresh your runes thanks to runic empowerment. Each runic power you spend has a 1.5% chance to initially instantly grant you a rune. So basically, on a single target you do this. Bam, 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 bam. The same as with Unholy Death Knight, you don't want to have more than 3 runes ready to press. Yeah, that's what the thing is about, because you have 3 runes, you waste their recharge potential. Especially with the RNG procs from the runic empowerment, you want to have like a with, with the procs of the runic empowerment, you want to have always 4 runes rolling in case you would cap from the frost strike that one rune, and then like you could basically waste the recharge potential. Then of course you have many utility gadgets, but because this is simply a starter guide, I will not be bothering you with that. Like that grip is really fucking handy in certain situations. Asphyxiate as a stun is also fucking glorious. But what you want to keep in mind when playing Across Death Knight is your cooldowns. Remorseless Winter, which costs 1 rune, has a 20-second cooldown, and Drained Fuck my life today. Drained warmth of life from all nearby enemies, dealing some frost damage over 8 seconds and reducing their movement speed by 20%. It has a pretty cool effect. By the way, if you are wondering, yes, it is one of the Lich King spells. And you slow everything around you and you deal a solid significant amount of damage. This cooldown is really important and when it comes to AoE. Then we have Pillar of Frost, which is instant spell, like instant cast. That makes sense. It has 45 seconds cooldown, and Power of Frost increases your strength by 50% in seconds. Each rune span while active increases your strength by an additional 1%. This is also pretty fucking good. And then we have Empower Rune Weapon. Empower a rune weapon, gaining 15% haste, and granting 1 rune and 5 runic power instantly at every 5 seconds for 20 seconds. This becomes really fucking strong once we get into talents, especially the Breath of Sindragosa. And then let's talk about the stat weight. So, when it comes to stats, Frost Death Knight benefits mostly from haste and crit. Why? Well, because let me put a spellbook. Because of the killing machine. You want to hit fast, and you want a critical strike. Your basic attacks are basically the bread and butter, alongside the rules of course. Haste increases your runic generation, that's simple. And of course, it increases the rate at which you auto-attack the target. So it effectively increases the rate at which you critical strike with auto-attacks the target, which increases the rate the killing machine procs. And so basically these two are on par, but haste goes slightly ahead of critical strike, but both of them are really fucking important. And on the first place, we have Master, because, well, Master increases your frost damage abilities. Which means effectively that it increases your Ramosa's winter damage, Howling Blast damage, strike damage, and some damage over the talents, like the good old big Sindragosa and the small Sindragosa. But I will get into that once I will talk about talents. Then on the fourth place we have versatility equaling strength. Like, yeah. You have either a plain increase for versatility, and by the way, I am over versatile. I would like to put something into haste, but unfortunately this is Tomb of Sargeras gear. So what would I want? Like, and of course then you have the plain increase of damage from strength. That's it. And yeah, that would be basically all the stat choices or stat values. And then let's jump into the talents. Talents are the most badass part of every game. On to the talents, ladies and gentlemen. On the row 56, we have Inexorable Assault. Gain Inexorable Assault every 8 seconds, stacking up to 5 times. Obliterate and Frost Sight consume a stack and deal additional frost damage. This sounds good, but effectively it's not much useful, because, well, you cannot get the proper benefit from that. The damage per stack is pretty low given the rate at which you press Obliterate. So you basically, every 8 seconds you Obliterate deal 375 increased damage. Like, that's basically nothing. Before I get to the go-to, let's talk about the Cold Heart. Every 2 seconds gain a stack of Cold Heart, causing your next Chains of Ice to deal 188 frost damage. Stacks up to 20 times. This is effectively the effect of the legendary chest, which is made into the talents of this one. But as you can see, like, it's significantly lowered in the number. Like, it's good when you have to burst something really quickly. But you are a fucking burst from the baseline toolkit, so you don't need anything and like another burst thingy. But that brings us to the last talent, Icy Talents. Your runic power spending abilities increase your melee attack speed by 5% for 6 seconds, stacking up to 3 times. This talent has seen one change from the Legion, because in Legion it was bound only to the Frost Strike. Now it's bound to any runic power spender, effectively meaning that the Breath of Sindragosa, which is a runic power spender, gives you Icy Talents as well. Which means that you basically have a passive 15% attack speed when you manage this right. Like, you don't want to spend all of the runic power at once and then have runes on cooldown and having nothing to press and let the debuff fall off. No, not debuff, let the buff fall off. But this is not strong only because it again increases the rate at which you proc the killing machine. It also goes very well in line with the talent on row 57. Runic Attenuation. I have no idea how this is spelled. The guy who designed the Frost Death Knight talent names should be punched in the face. Auto attacks have a chance to generate free runic power. Glorious! You basically auto attack and you gain runic power. Take a look. It's going up. From time to time. It's pretty fucking good. And then of course when I will stack up the icy talents. 1, 2, 3. You can see I hit like pretty quickly. And with that, with the chance to auto attack generate free runic power and the icy talents buff, you have pretty solid generation of runic power, which is good. And we have on the roll Murderous Efficiency. Consuming the killing machine effect has a 50% chance to guarantee 1 rune. This sounds good, but like compared to runic attenuation, it's not that good because you need for this talent to work, you need to have 2 things: proc killing machine and the luck. But you need the luck to proc the killing machine, so you basically need double luck. Nope. Then we have Horn of Winter. Blow the Horn of Winter, gaining 2 runes and generating 25 runic power. 45-second cooldown. It's a clunky as fuck playstyle. Like it theoretically could work in certain situations, but go with runic attenuation. On row 58 we have some sort of CCs. We have Death Reach, which increases the range of Death Grip by 10 yards, and killing an enemy that yields experience or honor resets the cooldown of Death Grip. That will be the go-to for leveling, because you can Death Grip every mob, because you are presumably the slowest class in the fucking game. You are glorious. Then we have Asphyxiate. Lifts the enemy target off the ground, crushing their throat with the dark energy and stunning them for 4 seconds. This is great. You have a stun. You have a stun that's on par with the Paladins. What is that shit called? Hammer of Justice or something like that? This is really fucking good. Then we have Blinding Sleep, 1 minute cooldown, and targets in cone of you are now blinded, causing them to wander disoriented for 5 seconds. Damage may cancel the effect. Effectively, this is good for Intermittent Plus for interrupting like some big caster groups, because you know, rest in peace Arcane Torrent, you were a good friend. From interrupting Maloriac's cast in times of Cataclysm until ruling in a Mythic Plus. So this might be a really good pick into Mythic Plus. On the row 60, this is where the things are getting interesting. We have Howling, we have Avalanche. Casting a Howling Blast with Rime active. Casting Howling Blast with Rime active causes jagged ices to fall on enemies near your target, dealing 300 frost damage. Which means that whenever you press Howling Blast, whenever you press Glowing Howling Blast, it deals additional damage. Sounds good. Then we have Frostbite, which is AoE go-to. Sweeping attack that strikes all enemies in front of you for 263 frost damage. This attack benefits from killing machine. Critical strikes with Frostbite deal 4 times normal damage. It costs 1 rune, it has no cooldown, and basically represents obliterate on the station. How? Because of this. Fuck, I have bound on different. You are just spamming. Pop, pop, up. Then you get some of the runic power away. And you spam again and again and again. You just feel like a fucking badass. Bow! I'm fucking unlucky when it comes to procs of anything, so damn shame. But you get the idea how funny that is. Imagine the insanely big overpool in Mythic Plus, and you just come in and drop this baddie and you start spamming. Frost Sight, and that's good. But then we have the Frozen Burst, which is your single target goal. While you have fewer than 3 runes, your auto attacks radiate intense cold, inflicting 84 frost damage on all nearby enemies. Which means that, if you play it correctly, you have 100% uptime of this. Your auto attacks basically deal additional damage, and effectively, given the procs of Avalanche, this gives you more damage on the single target. Because for Avalanche to work, you need to have the glowing Howling Blast, and you don't have the. Like, when you do the math, Howling Blast procs with the additional damage, when you divide that, it gives you more damage per second than. Not more, it gives you less damage per second. Frozen Pulse. So, Frozen Pulse on the single target is good. On AoE, Frost Sight. On row 75, we can choose if we want Absorb from auto attacks in the Permafrost talent. Your auto attack damage grants you an Absorb shield equal to 40% of the damage dealt. Or if we want Death Pack, create a Death Pack that heals you for 50% of your maximum health, but absorb incoming healing equal to 30% of your max health for 15 seconds. Or if you want to be a fucking mouse on cocaine with Bright Walk, sidestep in the Shadowlands, removing all root effects, increases your movement speed by 70% for 4 seconds. Taking any action cancels the effect. While active, your movement speed cannot be reduced below 170%. Why you are like a mouse on cocaine? Because you get more death advantage, which gives you like a 30% movement speed and makes you immune to any pushbacks. And then when that ends, you just pop out the Bright Walk and it gives us like pretty strong mobility to it, and the mobility is what matters in race eventually. I don't give a fuck about Mythic Plus. What man? On row 90. Well, we have Glacial Advance. A runic power spender summons a glacial spike from the ground that advances over the target, dealing some frost damage, applying Razor Eyes to enemies near the eruption. Basically, I will show you. You make up some of this. Of course, you take this out. You press the button, it deals this. It goes in like in front of you, if I'm not mistaken. Like if I turn away, yes, you could see like it does this. It's clunky as fuck to play, and it doesn't have like a that good of usage on single target, but it's useful on AoE, but not the best. Then we have Frostworm's Fury, 3-minute cooldown. Summon a Frostworm who breaks all enemies within 40 yards in front of you, dealing 5,630 frost damage and slowing movement speed by 50%. 10 seconds. First of all, that spell is like fucking trash. Second of all, it looks simply badass. You summon your pest on a Syndra Ghost Town. Who didn't want that? Well, unfortunately, in a single target situation, it's not entirely the best, because that comes together in Storm. Each rune you spend during Remorseless Winter increases its damage by 10% and extends its duration by 0.5 seconds. If you want to maximize the fun and the DPS, take a Soul of the Netherlord as long as you can. Because that's funny. Gives you the Gathering Storm passively so you can take Frostworm's Fury. But if you don't go for the Gathering Storm, because it's simply basic. It increases the damage and duration of the Remorseless Winter, it adds some more skillful play, so you basically want to maximize the Remorseless Winter thing. Then on the row 100, final row of talents, we have Ice Cap. Your Frost Strike and Obliterate critical strikes reduce the remaining Pillar of Frost by 1 second. Whenever you basically proc the glowing Obliterate, you get 1% the Pillar of Frost cooldown down. Honestly, with the 45-second cooldown, I don't see much usage in that. especially compared with the other talents. Obliteration. While Pillar of Frost is active, Frost Strike and Howling Blast always grant Killing Machine a 30% chance to generate a rune. And its passive, it buffs your Pillar of Frost to empower your Frost Strike or Howling Blast to make you cast Instant Obliterate. Or not instant, but Critical Strike, always. It's not that bad, but it pales in comparison with Blast, the glowing gem of Frosted Death Knight. Breath of Sindragosa, 2-minute cooldown, 10 runic power per second. Continuously deal 1239 frost damage every 1 second to enemies in cone in front of you. Deals reduced damage to secondary targets. You will continue breathing until your runic power is exhausted or you cancel the attack. This is glorious. Why? Because you have a shit ton of burst with this. Effectively, you want to maximize your runic power generation in the window for Breath of Sindragosa, and the longer and more amount of runic power you generate, the longer the breath gets and the better your DPS gets. That's why Icy Talents and Runic Attenuation are effectively so strong and important because of the Breath of Sindragosa, especially then with the Empower Rune weapon, which works like the good old Hungering Rune weapon talent from Legion. Now, and it gives you haste and rune and runic power and for 20 seconds, and this allows you to maintain the Breath of Sindragosa so high. Like that's why Frosted Knights used the top meters during Nighthawk, because they were able to have Breath of Sindragosa and Hungering Rune weapon at once. Then they reshuffled the talents and was no longer able to do that. But now they have returned it back. So Breath of Sindragosa is definitely go to any situation, basically. Because on the 2-minute cooldown, it's not that bad. Like you can have it on the big packs in Mythic Plus and on the boss in Mythic Plus. You can have it on basically any set of ads in raids. Like in PvP, it might be good because you will like nuke anyone. With that, you just come to him, press Breath, and you press the Empower weapon, and then you start spamming Obliterate, and then you death get the full target and slow him with the Chains of Ice, and fuck you, boy. This is it. This is what makes the Frosted Knight that funny. All that micromanaging and the Breath of Sindragosa. Like, Frosted Knight is not a hard class to get into, but is hard class to master. Really, the top Death Knight knows exactly how to get the most runic power to make Breath of Sindragosa works. He knows how to get most runes into Gathering Storm. He knows how to keep the Icy Talents when it's the best time to refresh it. And he also knows how to keep the least amount of runes on active, the most amount of runes on cooldown, to make the Frozen Pulse work as much as possible. With that, ladies and gentlemen, jump onto the single target rotation. Okay, let's do some like a play in theory. You want to open by generating some runic power, pressing your cooldowns. These two, Pillar of Frost and Remorseless Winter. So we go in and we press these two. You don't do anything at the pull count because you don't have Arm of the Dead or something like that. So you simply like jump in, this, you start pressing the buttons. Then you want, once you get somewhere around 50 runic power, which goes pretty quickly, you want to press Empower Weapon and Breath of Sindragosa. That is when the fun begins, because you basically start to spam Obliterate, and on the some free GCD you want to press the Prosperous Fury. Because I'm running for Prosperous Fury thanks to the Sword of the Netherlord. If you don't run Prosperous Fury, then don't press it. So, let's get into that. Let's press the button. Remorseless Winter, Pillar of Frost, Obliterate, Obliterate, Syndra, Empower, and now let's just spam these. Also, if you are a Blood Elf, make sure that you use your racial ability, Arcane Torrent, because although the slow is gone, or not slow, the interrupt is gone, it still gives you resource. So that's what you want to do. Now, when the frost, like when the Breath of Syndragosa window ended, you want to just slack around and generate runes, spend runes, generate runic power, spend runic power. It's actually handy to get a big aura which will track you the duration of Icy Talents. Because, well, it's pretty hard to keep it up 100% of the time. You want to refresh it as late as possible, so that you reduce the chance of not getting any runes or being out of runic power to generate runes, and then the buff would fall off. Yeah, like now I was pretty much out of any runes to spend, but I had the runic power. Okay, give me the runes. Refresh the buff. Press Obliterate. Honing Blast. Wow! Refresh the buff. You must not let your ass fall off the count, because then you really risk of losing the ship. Now we can see that the Breath of Syndragosa is coming out of cooldown, and so does the Empowering Weapon. So let us prepare for that. Let's press the Breath, Empower, and let's just have some tap tap tap. There you go. Come on, come on, come on! Damn it. Oh, you play around these burst windows every 2 minutes. And in between those windows, you keep the Icy Talents buff, and you press basically what is glowing. You keep the runes on cooldown, you keep the buff up, you keep the dot up, and you just have fun. Also, really make sure that you utilize your racial abilities, especially the Blood Elf one, because that 15 runic power, when you are playing Frosted Knight, it's really fucking handy. And with that, guys, I think I've covered the basics of the single rotation and kinda give you also the insight of how to maximize it. So let's take a look on the AoE. Alright, so let's go. When it comes to AoE of the Frosted Knight, you see just the one change in the talents. Frost Sight. As I shown previously, you just in, bam, bam, bam. Your low sustain AoE is basically the same as the sustain phase on the single target. But you want to keep the dot up at any cost. So you just press, you hard press Howling Blast on the open, and then you just get in, and you do this, and of course you use the Howling Blast, not Howling Blast, the Tremor's Winter on down, and keep the buff of Icy Talents up, because once more you want to get the procs of Killing Machine. And as you can see, I'm not getting any of these. Effectively means fuck my life. Up, 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 up. But the true fun and the true shining of Frosted Knight starts when you have to do the burst AoE, or when you can afford to do the burst AoE. Because in that case, you are doing the single target burst rotation with the Breath of Syndragosa and popping all those cooldowns and the Frostworm and the Gatherings rocks, and all the kind of shit. But you replace Obliterate with Frostbite as spammable thing. So, you once again, let's do this properly, like, say, like somewhere here before the back pool or something. Damn it! Fuck my life! But like, okay, once again, you press this, Great Walk or Death Events, you run in, press dot, these darlings up, make some runic power, just in case, Syndra, Empower, and we pick Syndra, and spam, and spam, and spam, and spam, and spam, and you can see that we are spamming pretty frequently. Come on! Yes! You can see pretty solid DPS. And yeah, that's basically the AoE rotation Frosted Man. Okay, so I guess you get the single target and AoE basics, and now let's take a look on the Azerite race just for in case you would like to know what to go for in the PFA or what to expect in the. Alright, so fuck, once again I'm doing all of this. Holy fucking shit. Okay, so we have Frozen Tempest. The Immortal's Winter deals an additional damage. First time Immortal's Winter deals damage, 3 different enemies you gain Rhyme. Which means that this is a Mythic Plus sort of, like Azerite trade where you get better AoE from hitting 3 targets with Immortal's Winter, and Immortal's Winter on its own deals some additional damage. The additional damage is like nothing, but the Rhyme proc is pretty handy. That is one of those that I would rate as boring. We have Latent Chill. Froststrike is an additional damage. You have at least 3 empty runes. Which means that when you keep the runes on the cooldown as you should, Froststrike deals pretty significant amount of additional damage. Like, yeah, it's basically additional damage to what it deals now. Like 100% of the damage Froststrike deals in 110. Which is like a 50% of what it will deal on the 120. That's good. But again, like, it's just something that comes passively from you playing the classes. Okay. Killer Frost. Froststrike deals 330 additional damage with it and has 15% chance of critical strike to the Killing Machine. Again, Froststrike deals additional damage and it has a 15% chance to grant you Killing Machine when it crits. Again, something that you basically do normally, but you have increased chance to proc a Killing Machine. I guess that this is so far the biggest game changer, because you get more critical strikes to Obliterate. But still, it's one of those that are boring as fuck. Then, we have Echoing Howl. When empowered by Ram, Howling Blast causes a secondary burst of harm the target. Sorry. That deals significant amount of frost damage to nearby enemies. That means that one Howling Blast casts basically 2 Howling Blasts. Yeah, okay. Again, something you basically do normally, and it's just a passive increase by the small artifact traits. Okay. Then we have Glacial Contagion. Your auto attacks have a chance to Glacial Contagion, dealing significant amount of frost damage over 14 seconds. Obliterate deals additional, not so significant amount of damage to target. Glacial Contagion. Like, your auto attacks are hitting like a fucking track, it gives you a dot to the target, and dot makes Obliterate deal more damage. Again, something which is completely passive. Like, honestly, I'm a little bit disappointed with the Frost Decay traits, especially when I compare them to the Unholy one, because the Unholy one are really some solid game changers. But, what can we do? This is what we got. So what I think will be a go-to is either this one, because the dot art, or was it? Oh, but this one could be actually also pretty good in damage-wise. I think it's yeah, that one, which gives you more proxy killing machine. That will be like the one you would most likely like to go to. And well, with that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to end this guide. So, if you have found it somehow useful, then give it a like. If you have not found it useful or didn't like it or what so fucking ever, then give it a dislike. Please, ladies and gentlemen, into the comment section below, tell me what I got wrong. Am I a complete idiot, retard, or what? Just let me know, and also let me know what I got wrong, because in that case, not only you help other people who find this guy and then take a look on the comments, but you also help me to learn the class, play properly, and avoid these mistakes in the updates of this guy. Which brings me to another point. If you want to update it on the Frozen Knight or even Warlocks, or Unholy Death Knight, or any other class I play and I'm going to make a guide about, then subscribe to this channel and the notification bell. Because, well, you want to be notified when you upload the video. Then, yeah, of course, if you know any Frost Death Knight, then get this guy to him. It could theoretically help him somehow. If he's like a new, this guy is not for maximizing the DPS; it's for getting new people to basically get into. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for watching. I hope I somehow helped you, and I will see you sometime in the future. Bye bye.